There's a concept that I regularly share on my posts, right? In my videos, there's a concept that I regularly talk about that a lot of people won't understand what I mean by that. A lot of people will not understand what I mean by that. And what I usually say is this: do not present yourself as the full package up front to a woman. That's premature integration, right? Overstimulation leads to duplicity, right? I got a video about that, right? Now, even if it doesn't lead to a woman acting on that duplicity, that's still going to be something that's in the back of her mind. Like, something I always say is this: it's not about the number of partners that a woman's had. It's about the quality. It's not the quantity, it's the quality. And when you understand that it's not the quantity, but the quality, you come to a place where you understand that it's important that when you first start dealing with a woman, that you leave things on a purely sexual level. And if she's able to deal with you on that purely sexual level, and you could take her to new places sexually that she hasn't been before, you're able to get this understanding of her sexual past or sexual history. There's ways of going about that. I might give some game on that. And you give her a platform and a safe space to be honest about her experiences. And then you see how compatible you can be. I say don't even really be with a woman unless you could take her to a new place sexually that she hasn't been before. Another thing that I talk about is this: if you're going to get into a relationship, and some people they say they don't care about this, some people it don't matter to them. Hey, listen, if it don't correlate to you, then it don't matter. I say that before you commit to a woman, you need to both of you, right? And it's part of the vetting process. You go through some of those peak experiences and you replicate and you see if you can go past the superlatives of those experiences. Because if you're unable to go past the superlatives of those experiences, then those are going to be fantasies that linger in the mind of an individual. Because oftentimes people talk about, sex, body count, it matters, all this extra shit. And they go fall on one side. And then another person to go on the side says, one person say it don't matter because it's all about love. Another person say it don't matter because I'm just automatically going to be her best. And another person to say it don't matter because I don't care. And another person to say, well, it matters because she done had all this sex out here. A woman could have had one partner before you and that person could have blew her fucking mind in a way that you can't. Can you handle that? Can't handle that, then there's certain ways you don't need to be dating. Leading with love, emotional validation, social validation, and financial resources. Leading with security. Offering a woman feminine things in order to have access to her sexually. And if you're saying, well, I'm offering feminine things and emotion because I want to be in a healthy relationship. Listen. If this, what I'm about to read for you, will hurt your ego, then that whole argument you're making is bullshit, right? The whole argument you're making is bullshit. This is something you should know ahead of time. And if a woman isn't honest about that when you're having those conversations, then you got to get behind her social mask before you even think about being emotionally invested in a woman, right? So this is a post from Reddit. I need to get back on there, right? But this is from True Off My Chest. So this man said, my dying wife asked me if it'll be okay if she has sex with her ex one last time. I can't have this tied to my main, but I really need to say something about it and have no one I can tell. My wife has a terminal illness. She is projected to live at most 9 months. I'm of course destroyed. We've been together for a decade. I don't remember life without her, and I don't know what I'm going to do when she's gone. I have been doing my best to make the last days of her life good and grant whatever wish I can. The doctor said that she was likely to need a wheelchair in 4 or 5 months. Then by month 8, she'll be bedridden for the last few weeks. That's if she doesn't decline faster. Recently, she sat me down and told me that one of the last things she wanted to do was have sex with a previous partner of hers. I, of course, was shocked. And when I asked why the fuck she wants that, so basically, she thinks that her most physically compatible, satisfying lover was him. She gave a whole monologue about how sex sometimes is just physical and how emotionally fulfilling sex is with me, but it was bullshit to get to that point. So now I'm left with this: deny my dying wife a wish for my own ego, or let her go fuck another man who she feels was better. Honestly, I'm so pissed off and betrayed that she asked this of me. I feel like I'm put in a position where I have to say yes because she's dying. I know what I want to say, but I don't know if that's right. I'm so hurt that sex with an ex was apparently so good that she needs to do it once before she dies. I just hate everything about this. And listen, I hate it for you. What I'll say in this particular type of situation is this. You got to go back and read what's going on. This man presented himself as the full package to a woman, right? It looks to me like this woman was masculine submissive with him. Apparently she was a great wife. You know, just because a woman is masculine submissive doesn't mean that she's automatically going to cheat. She may have already done it, but she probably didn't since she's asking, all right? But there's a good chance she's going to go do it anyways. And he's kind of just in a tough spot right now. You know, and she tried to lead with that, you know, it's the most emotionally fulfilling to have sex with you. It's just, I was the best physically compatible partner I've had. See, this is why I always tell men it's good dick and guidance. Good dick, not good sex, right? You could eat pussy like the best of them, right? Eating pussy like the best of them. That does not mean that you are a woman's best sexual partner. Because contrary to popular belief, and I know how social programming works these days, because they're pushing certain agendas that are meant to denigrate the sexual chemistry and compatibility between a man and a woman. So they try to push, oh, as long as you make her comfortable, as long as you give her clitoral orgasms, don't even worry about the vaginal orgasm for penetration, don't even worry about it, right? Because some women can't. A lot of women can. A lot more women can than think they can. And just because a woman can't with you doesn't mean that she never has or that she never will, right? This woman was in a low place, right? This partner that she had, she's obviously not still with him. So it means that the dude probably knocked her off real good, but she probably couldn't get more out of him. And then she got to a place of sexual disintegration where she was like, instead of being feminine and submissive with this man, I realized that sleeping with him is not going to be something that's going to lead to a good long-term idea. It's not going to be a good long-term, sustainable, healthy relationship. You get what I'm saying? When you lead with the full package, you don't know what that woman is going to be, what she desires you for. You don't want unconditional love from a woman. I'm not even saying it's impossible to get it, but you don't want that shit. You want a woman to desire you for things that are masculine and dominant, because if she desires another man for those things more, then that man's always going to be in the back of her mind. And it'll be moments like this that'll bring it out. Now, some women, they're not going to tell you they're just going to go ahead and do it, right? But this woman, she was honest enough to tell him, but also he was saying, no, he wants to grant every wish that she has before she passes away, right? Now, what I'll say is this, you know, this past theory, right? And one thing I talk about with past theory is this. Sometimes past theory works on, maybe this dude waited for sex before they start dealing with each other. Another aspect of past theory is he didn't really account for her past, right? He didn't really put a lot of thought into that. He didn't ask her. They didn't have those conversations before they got emotionally invested. So now that he's hearing this is really bad information to him. This really hurts him. Sometimes a woman will hold back that information in order to spare a man's ego. But what you got to understand is that if you're emotionally invested into a man, the more emotionally invested he is, the harder it's going to be for him to take that information. It's best for a man to find that out sooner than later. And then you go through this process of seeing if you can surpass those past experiences, or you go through that process of you just let him say if he wants to leave or not, right? If he wants to get emotionally invested in you, knowing that he'll never be the best sex that you ever had, right? What a man does not want to hear from a woman is that he was the most emotionally connected. You see how that emotion shit didn't really do anything about her when it came to caring about how he felt about what she was going to say to him. But a lot of women are in this position right now. Like I always say, you do not want a woman to choose you for logical reasons. You don't want a woman to say, you know what, he's a good man, he's good to me, he treats me well, he validates me emotionally, he gives me social validation, he takes care of me, so I'm gonna do what I gotta do to be a good woman. And that's what a lot of men say that they want. They out here chasing Topangas. But what you gotta understand about Topangas is this. Oftentimes Topangas have already experienced a certain level of, like some of them haven't, but a lot of them have. A lot of women who are Topangas have experienced a certain level of sexual overstimulation, right? And because they've experienced a certain level of sexual overstimulation, the things that came along with it were things that they felt they couldn't deal with on a long-term basis. So they had to leave that situation, right? Something to understand about that as well is that in these particular types of scenarios, Sometimes a man will see a woman as a good woman to him. Maybe he feels like she's feminine and submissive with him, but because his program doesn't stretch her. And what do I mean by having a program that stretches a woman, right? What I mean by having a program that stretches a woman is she needs to have the capacity to be fully satisfied dealing with you in a purely sexual way for an extended period of time, and enjoying that and being satisfied with that, and naturally getting to a place on her own where she wants to be just having sex with you. And if she can't get to that place without the promise of a relationship, then that's a woman who you're not compatible with. I know that's tough. A lot of women are not gonna hear that, because a masculine submissive woman, she gonna need to do something on the side. You know what I mean? A feminine dominant woman, she gonna do something on the side. But when a woman gets truly feminine and submissive with you, then there's a certain level of honesty, a certain level of getting behind her social mask. See, a lot of guys, they want a nice woman. They want a nice girl. And that woman may be able to be nice to you for several years on end, right? But the thing to understand about a woman being nice is sometimes when you come to a woman and you're dealing with her and she's already at all the sexual levels that you want to get to, and you don't try to push it any further than that, and you don't try to get, understand her past and all those different things before you get engaged with her, something that can occur along the way is this. She can just appear to be feminine and submissive with you because your program stretches her a lot less than another man's program stretched her. So it's like me. That's just like me, right? I've had women who I dealt with just on some dom shit. I really stretched them in the way that I dealt with them. I took them to new places sexually that they never been before. And doing things that way, sometimes a woman can go through alpha widowhood. Sometimes a woman's cup gets low and then she desires femininity from a man. And when a woman gets to that place, she can go deal with a beta male. Now, a lot of women, if they've been sexually overstimulated to a certain point, they aren't even going to be able to do that. And honestly, that's probably what you want, for real. Like if a woman can't get there with you, you don't want her to force herself to get there with you. Sometimes a woman can make a logical decision and say, you know what, this is the best full package I can get. This is the best full package I can get in a man, so this is who I'm going to choose to be with. And when a woman has that mindset and that mentality, you got to understand you taking certain losses, right? You're probably not going to be the peak of her sexual preferences or the peak of her sexual experiences. And you may never get there. One thing about some women who are masculine and submissive is that, they may limit how far they'll allow you to take them sexually. They'll limit it. That's why I don't deal with a woman unless it's a dom sub dynamic. Because I have to know that a woman is going to be receptive to me stretching her, taking her to new heights, taking her to new places. I've dealt with women who I did that to them, right? Maybe their cup got low. They decided to go deal with a beta male. And then when they come back to me, and this has happened several times, and they're telling me, oh, the relationship's not about sex like that. We just hang out and we cuddle and we watch TV, and sometimes we sleep in the bed together and we don't have sex. Or talking about, he's real sweet to me, he's real nice, but he's just real feminine and he's just real emotional. Or they're coming to me talking about his dick is little. You know what I mean? I've had a few women come to me like that, talking about how some dude they dealt with had a little dick between us, right? I've dealt with that on multiple occasions. And what you got to understand is that sometimes a woman, to you, she might not tell you those things. But understand, the man she feels that way about, she gonna tell him all that shit. Right? She gonna tell him all that shit. All that dirt about how your sex life ain't hitting like that, she gonna tell that man that. So these are just some things to understand. It's like you have to know that if you're going to take that role of being transactional, whether it's emotional validation, social validation, whether it's financial compensation, taking care of a woman, offering her security, that whatever you trade for sex will eventually come back to bite you in your ass. Understand that whatever you trade for sex will eventually come back to bite you in your ass. This is Brody, I'm out.